welcome to Rapid Reviews Radio Podcast, episode 200. That's 200 for anyone who doesn't know English numbers. I did not think we'd make it to this number, but I kind of also did think that we'd make it to this number. And then we're going to make it so that this number doubled and quadrupled in the future. But, I'm your co-host, Kiley Wilde, and have been for the past 200 episodes. And my ever-present co-host, Pete Beckett.
Hello. For the 200th time.
Yes, for the 200th time. And we actually don't have
anything special.
I think we have.
Well,
I think we did episode 69 more than we did this episode.
Yeah, but that's because it was funny.
Oh my goodness.
Technically, we did have something special, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Okay, well, I was going to say we did at least start this episode. You guys don't know this if you're not following along at twitch.tv/rapid reviews. But we actually started this episode with a hype train, which has never happened before. So, a lot of firsts here today. I'm not drunk. There's a first. That's a lie. I just lied to our lovely, lovely listeners and watchers. But, yes, exactly. Sidcho says, but you have us. We're special, no? And Max says, okay, in which case, see you next week. Bye. No, you're not going anywhere, mister. And then...
Get back in the basement.
Danker's just redeemed another glass.
Of course.
It is a party time central episode. So you are missing a lot if you're not watching this over on Twitch. But it's okay if you can't.
Yeah, we got a hype train emote.
So, okay. I'm sorry, our lovely listeners.
Yeah, remember this is an audio podcast first and foremost.
It is.
You are terrible with that.
I am very terrible with that. Because I'm very visual, and I'm like, oh, squirrel. And I get distracted very easily. Yes, it is party time. Excellent. God, we could have totally done this like a Wayne's World episode.
How, though?
Just do all the doodle-doo, and, you know, all the different
I mean,
things.
but honestly, that requires planning and a conversation.
I know. Two things of which I am not good at.
No.
Joe says, "Nah, this is mesmerizing Twitch chat time." Yes, this is what we're all about here on Rapid Reviews podcast. Equality for our visual and auditory listeners. But no more playing around. Yes, it's always playing around here. I'm going to continue to drink my wine and turn this over to Pete, who's, I'm sure, got something so special planned for our 200th episode. Pete, what have you got planned? No, I forgot our freaking intros.
Yes.
What? Okay. Back that up. Pete, how has your week been?
God damn, my week has been busy. So busy. So I've been doing personal stuff this week, let's say. And I'm not going to go into details, but one of them was wedding related.
Oh.
So I don't want to talk about all of that sort of stuff yet. So, especially on the internet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I'll tell you about all that later on anyway.
It's okay.
But yeah, other than that, it's just work's been busy. It's just been a busy week. But this week I did actually get to sit down and play some games. So let's talk about games, shall we?
It's a gaming podcast, I guess.
Yeah. So, so I actually picked. Well, I'm gonna start with the lightest topic first. I picked this up again for a few games the other day. It's still as mesmerizing and as brilliant as ever. Tetris 99.
Oh yes, I too am a fan of Tetris 99. I have not thought about that in about 2 years though.
No, I got massively addicted to that game for a long time, and I didn't really play it for ages, but for some reason I just felt the urge to just play a couple of games. That was I wonder why. It might have been because I watched the Tetris movie.
Yes, which I still have not watched.
Highly recommend. Very, very good. I actually was quite impressed with it. You know what I'm like with biopics. I'm not really overly sold on them, but actually the story itself is so compelling and the actors in it are very good. It made this. It's already a crazy story anyway, but it made it a little bit more compelling, and mostly because of the subject material. But yeah, it's very highly entertaining. If you've got Apple TV, I would recommend to give it a watch. So yeah, that then led on to me playing a bit of Tetris. But hey, other than that, the main game that I played, and you can go and check this out on twitch.tv/rapid reviews, because a pre-200 show, I played a muted Yakuza.
Game itself had
yes,
audio.
the game had audio, which is good, but I was muted for the entire time, which was utterly stupid. You can blame my damn headset for that, because I was streaming off the PS5. But yeah, I was playing Yakuza 0, so the journey has started. I've played through the first chapter. Admittedly, I'd already played the first chapter before and went, oh, I really like this. I'm going to carry on, but another time. So I wanted to own the games themselves, so I originally played it on Xbox. This time I'm playing them on PlayStation. Yeah, the game is absolutely fantastic even already, but the intro is incredibly slow and drawn out. But it is building. It's building up the story. It's building up Kazuma Kiryu as a character, and his, where he sits in the Yakuza at the time of the game is set, which is in 1988. And obviously, for those who knew, because Zero had come out many years after the fact when Yakuza started as a series, this is a prequel as such. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Seeing Kiryu quite young, a bit more reckless, and a bit more sort of learning where he is from. It's quite interesting, but I'm interested to see where it goes, because outside of this, I don't know what happens now. So next time I'm going to make sure you guys can actually hear me. So yeah, I did say, because I was muted at the time, yeah, I know, it's just stupid chat.
Me. I'm
sorry?
going to read that, both of them are getting me in chat, and I'm going to read it.
Yeah, I'm fully aware, but yeah, it's yeah, I was trying to say in the chat, obviously, or on the stream, but nobody could obviously hear me.
Oh.
That I do really enjoy the Yakuza series from what I've played of it so far, so it'll be interesting to see where it all goes. But yeah, I don't know when it's going to continue, because it's dependent on my free time, and there's not many days of free time in the next few months.
Yeah,
but I'll try my best to be on as much, to carry on with it as much as possible.
I think that would be good. Yes, and Danker got me with, yep, slow start, quick finish, just like my love life. And then Tencho added, hey, it's called proficiency. We Germans know all about that.
No, don't you mean efficiency? Not profit.
Okay, well,
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Both.
Right, Kylie, how's your week been, and have you been playing things?
I actually don't think I've played much. Normally on Fridays, Mags and I play something. Currently it's Suicide Squad. But he's been away working.
Mm-hmm.
I have been working, but not that hard. Normal working.
Brilliant.
And so I'm trying to run through my head. I did look at. Oh, I played Fallout New Vegas, but I mean, come on, I always play Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, no surprises there.
Yeah, I did watch some people play JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fighting game.
Really?
They were watching the anime, and they're like, "Oh, let's try that." So I just watched. I was like, "Okay, cool."
So was that the remake of it, or the remaster? Sorry.
I don't know, because I don't know enough about it. But I knew that. Here's what I thought was odd, and I did want to say this to Pete, but I guess Sincho as well. It had where you could remap the buttons, which I assume is normal in fighting games.
Completely normal.
But there weren't enough buttons for the stuff they had available. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say?
What do you mean? I'm not
There
sure.
were more options,
Oh, so
like taunting and stuff like that.
okay. It depends on how they're playing. Depends on how they're playing the game. So obviously, if you're playing on a fight stick, you only have usually 6 to 8
Oh,
buttons
that's what it
available
is.
to you.
Okay. Okay.
So some of them, yeah, like Senjo said, some of them are shortcuts. Some of them are, yeah. Some games have a dedicated grab button, or you can use 2 inputs for it.
Right. Because I did think of both you and Sincho when I was watching this, trying to pick up, because I don't know that much about fighting games. This looked like, first of all, graphically, it looked exactly like the anime, so I couldn't, like, say anything against that.
Yeah, the Capcom game really captured the sense and feel of the JoJo's anime.
I will say this. Yeah, say this the right way. There's a character who is paralyzed
Mm-hmm.
in a fighting game.
Interesting concept.
Yes, and that's all I will say about that. So we will quickly move on. But it did make for a very interesting fight.
I mean, bearing in mind that some games have characters that has a grab character. I think it's BlazBlue actually has a grab based character that uses magnets. So, yeah.
Well, there you go. I got a cough. Hold on. My wine went down the wrong pipe. But outside of some messing around with some Fallout, I don't really do much. I did start watching Hannibal again.
Well, of course you did.
6th time. It's been a kind of boring and quiet weekend.
Fair.
What?
I said that's fair. Sometimes you need a nice quiet weekend.
Weekend. I mean, entire week. But anyway. Yeah, I'm running through my head just to be sure. Yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah, fine.
So that leads us on to our next segment. Bum-ba-da-dum. Pete, what are we going to talk about today on our 200th episode, which is amazing? Boo-boo-boo-boo.
Shall we talk the internet being an utter shit show this week?
But it always is, Pete.
True. So let's carry on then, shall we?
Someone redeem it.
Let's start as we mean to go on. Shall we cover news that's closer to home a little bit first?
Sure.
Okay, well this one was popping off in a certain Discord earlier on in the week, and sorry Mags, this might get you annoyed. Player 1 reportedly lays off staff, closes down Insomnia Game Festival.
Oh, well. Oh, darn, I'll have to do my own. I think that wouldn't upset Mags, because he also is talking about that.
Well, I think what I can gather from earlier on in the week is that he had a bit of a rant on a stream about it, maybe?
No, that was EGX.
Oh, okay, well, EGX then. Sorry, I've been busy this week. I couldn't exactly catch it. Anyway.
Before we start, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing. I think people should listen to me, but I'm not saying nothing. I've not had a good thing to say about Insomnia for the last 3 years.
I know you haven't.
I'm just saying. But
yeah, shall we cover that in a minute, or actually read the story first? Okay. So, Player 1 Events has reportedly laid off an unknown number of staff, believed to be the majority of the company, and shut down long-running UK video games event Insomnia Gaming Festival. Esports News UK reported that several former employees of Player 1 Events have shared news of redundancies online. So they told GamesIndustry.biz the layoffs included the entire sales and marketing team, some suggesting the company itself has shut down. Based on what I was doing at the time, trying to look for information on this, they've not updated any socials for like months, so it would show that there's been a bit of a problem there for quite a while in terms of communication.
Said, I did massively rant about EGX, but said how sad I am for Player 1 and Insomnia. But the people who own it have screwed everyone. Well,
we might be getting to that in a minute anyway.
Okay.
So shut down. We've also heard Insomnia will not return. GamesIndustry.biz was reaching out for comments, yet to receive a response. So, in case you haven't realised, this comes from Games Industry, the source itself. So they all Esports UK or News UK also reported that all but one of the company's directors have resigned over the past 9 years, mostly within the last 5. Wow, bloody hell, this is someone actually going in. On the company's house listing for Supernova Events and Esports Limited, which encompasses Player One, only co-founder and CEO Paul Wedgwood is an active director. He was appointed to the role in April of 2024, the same day that the financial controller Nicole Avery and group CFO Christopher Sharp, the 2 remaining directors, resigned.
Journal. There.
Well, finally, gamesindustry.biz have actually done something useful, which is good. The last Insomnia gaming event, IE72, took place between March 28th and April 1st. New Esports News UK has told that some contractors and freelancers who work this event have yet to be paid.
Which is the biggest deal in my mind. And Mags, of course, said exactly what you said. There was an official email from the head of Player One who also got laid off. Everyone has been laid off. No one is left. Danger says, does question how the UK gaming presentation scene is going to look in 5 years. All the independents are going to thrive. I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, I'm not carrying. Well, let's just I'm just carrying on with the rest of the news story anyway.
Yeah,
so, it's unclear what the layoffs and the shutdown of Insomnia means for Player One. Organised events such as RuneFest. So RuneFest was due to return September 7th to 8th on 2024. An additional 1,000 tickets were due to be made available on May 15th, but the company announced the day before via social media that it was postponing ticket sales due to unforeseen circumstances, such as your company being shut down. More than 70 Insomnia events have run over the past 25 years. The shows took place primarily at Birmingham NEC and were the biggest independent esports events on the calendar. So Insomnia was started by Multiplay, which was acquired by UK retailer. Who do you think? Kiley? Who do you think?
Drank a lot. I don't know.
Game.
Who's actually out of business?
Which are owned by Sports Direct.
Keep forgetting that.
Yeah, and the events division was later rebranded to Player One Events. Anyway. Insomnia's collapse leaves EGX and WSD as the UK's main consumer shows. Sorry, no, that doesn't include Timeless.
Yeah, I'd say Timeless and
or format.
And EGX is a...
Yeah, anyway. WSD took place in April in London, obviously, and EGX is co-locating with MCM Comic Con in October. But yeah, if you want to hear more thoughts about that particular one, go and check out Mags's Twitter.
Yes.
Or the chat where he says FEGX.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
Anyway,
and yes, he did
continue.
do a rant that has been clipped. He's done a rant that's been clipped on his channel. And he's done a rant here. A very famous rant.
He did. It was great and glorious. Not long after the fact that happened.
Yeah, but watch my face when you watch that.
Mm.
But I do want to talk about that. Not that. I think everyone knows how that ended up. But anyway, no, I want to talk about gaming events. Because I think let's not deny it. The lockdown messed up live events.
Yep.
It did. We lost E3 because of that.
Not necessarily.
I will absolutely concede that it was on its way out, but I think, and I've said this many times on this show, that the lockdown was the final nail in that coffin.
Yeah, okay, agreed. It was definitely not going the right way.
Right, but that is, I'm trying to ignore chat for a second so I can get through this.
Yeah, please do.
Anyway, yes, but that was very indicative of what was coming on the horizon. And what was coming on the horizon is live events have changed. We're in a completely different world now. Because things like the Nintendo Direct, the Xbox Showcase, or is it PlayStation Showcase?
State of Play for PlayStation, Xbox Showcase, or
I forget all the little sub headings.
Developer Direct or whatever it's called for Xbox.
Whatever. I mean, they can put that on themselves. They can put it online, and boom, there you go. But humans, will always love in-person events, especially if there's free stuff.
Yep.
So that left something like WASD, which we all attend, wide open to succeed. And I would say very much that it did succeed. It features more indie games, obviously, and it was a better format where you could just walk around and play games and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Insomnia is esports. And nothing against esports. Esports is a very niche area. I mean, I would say that, yeah, you and Cincho are, and then Brent, if he was around. You guys are more of our esports guys, but that's still very niche. It's not something. I did a whole episode where I trashed Insomnia. Obviously, it was Insomnia Ireland. Still, same owners.
Very early on as well, by the way.
Very early on. I have very good instincts. People don't listen to me, and they forget I'm rich for a reason. I knew when I walked in, this was not going to last.
Yeah.
A dedicated esports convention does not have a place in today's society.
It does not.
A convention that has an esports section, sure, I think that could work. Just like a dedicated indie section or things like that. I don't think that this was ever going to survive in its current form, which is sad. And I'm very, very sad for the people that did get let go and have lost their jobs and stuff like that. Like, I'm very sad for that. But the writing was on the wall if you opened your eyes and paid attention. And yes, I reflect what chat said. I think it might have been Danker. Now is the time for the independently owned conventions. And yes, of course, I mean Timeless and Format and WASD. Those independently owned and ran. It's time for them. They can do this. They can survive this this mess that we're in. But I've always been for independent, structured things anyway. That's how I run my business. But
I agree, but also what this does do, this is now frees up the potential, and who knows whether or not they'll decide to go with it, because AAA developers and all that, we've seen kind of a problem with them recently, and the gaming market itself. But actually, it might see them maybe potentially try and set up another thing that, another event for solely dedicated to AAA games. But you never know. It's probably not likely to happen.
Here's what I think. Oh, dadgummit, stupid ad breaks.
It's fine.
Here's what I think. Could you do a AAA gaming convention like the old days?
No.
I don't think so. Because, as we've seen, and probably for at least the next 2 years, again, I have fabulous business instincts. You have to listen to me. The next 2 years are going to suck for AAA.
Mm-hmm.
I even stretch it to 3 years, but I know for the next 2 years, for sure. I called this way back when, and I'm calling it now. So, a gaming convention that focuses solely on AAA games, there's no place in it, no place for it right now, as things are. I'm not saying it's off the table forever, but right now is the time for indies. And actually, Ben, who is a member of Mags' chat, but he's also a developer, he actually made a very good point that I've been mulling over, which is what constitutes an indie studio.
I mean, it's an interesting debate at the moment, because Dave the Diver is technically a quote-unquote indie game, but it's funded by a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
But, hey, Cincho says, I'm sure that the World Cup esports event in Saudi Arabia with 60 or whatnot millions on the line will be big on independence.
It'll be massive on human rights corruption.
Oh, that's true. I bet, though, they don't make their money back.
Probably unlikely.
I don't think they'll make.
But the problem is, it's the Saudi.
It's a big call. Big call.
It's the PIF though. Like, they're willing to spend billions because they have billions available to them just to get a small chance of market share, and that's it. which is why they're currently funding SNK and companies like that.
I'm on this soapbox I've been on a million other times, and I do apologize, but this is my bread and butter here. We're talking about the last couple of years, corporations, especially gaming corporations, and I mean Microsoft's Xbox division, Sony's PlayStation division, whatever, Tencent, all of that. They have thought that throwing money against the wall at problems was going to solve the problem. Money is not always the answer. Does money help? Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm here to tell you money helps so much. Is money the complete answer? No, you can invest hundreds of thousands, millions. But if you're not getting that back, you've invested a waste. You've done nothing. You've accomplished nothing.
True.
And I think that is the hard lesson that they've had to learn these last 2 years. And I still believe, which I've said again, and I'll say it again. I've said before, and I'll say it again now. With the way things are going now, the bubble has burst. We are going to get higher quality games. Because we've had shit. Oh, frick.
No, you carry on. I don't. Look, the reins are off. It's 200. I don't care anymore.
Okay. We've had crap quality games. Let's not lie. Let's not kid ourselves. We've had crap quality AAA games for the last 18 months. That's because corporations have been throwing money at it. They've been making games by corporation, by committee. Now that the whole everything's on the line, we're going to finally, I think we as a consumer are going to benefit. We're going to get higher quality games, which is then going to translate, we're going to get better conventions. Because it will have better quality. And I do think, as I said before, it's the indies' time to shine. Yes, we're still back on what constitutes an indie. I know Bungie, before they were bought by Sony, was considered an indie studio. I know it can get kind of dodgy. Who's indie, who's not.
No, I think there needs to be a clear distinction. There is a difference between indie and independent.
Right, and to be fair, because of who I am, I'm always going to support independent.
Yeah.
I don't like being a slave to advertisers or shareholders or anything like that. I'm strongly independent. All of my businesses are fiercely independent. They're, don't get me started. That'll be hours of business.
I am not a slave to the advertisement.
I am not. But having said all of that, I actually think, it sounds negative. I know it sounds negative. Hearing what Pete has just said, hearing all the nonsense I just spewed, I actually think that this is a net positive for gamers, for the consumer. I really, really do. I think we're going to see the quality go up in the next couple of years.
Okay.
I think we're going to see more independent conventions come around.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean that in like they're going to be competing against each other.
Okay.
No.
All I'm going to say is, when it comes to the game side of things, maybe hold that thought until the end of the news stories today.
Oh, okay.
Maybe hold that thought. We'll get to that in a bit.
All right, let me read chat very quickly and
Sure.
we'll move on. Because I get on my soapbox. I can't help it. But Centra says almost no esports event makes money. You know how I learned that? I used to watch the Overwatch, the original Overwatch.
The Overwatch League.
Finals, championships. Overwatch League. Back when I cared about Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of money that... oh, frick. Forgot. I just blanked out. I've drank too much wine. Company, Blizzard. The amount of money that Blizzard put into the Overwatch finals was ridiculous. The set pieces, the everything. I just remember watching and I was like, are they really making this much money back? No, they weren't. And unfortunately, as we see, it all collapsed and died. Let's see. It's all a BS bubble. Exactly. Esports equals Street Fighter 5 launch. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jake says here, and then it just says, give me that ET remaster in 2027.
A game nobody's ever asked for, but hey, let's carry on.
Don't forget, I've said this before, I need to show it on air. I might have showed it on air. I have one of the ET cartridges from the landfill.
Nice.
Yes. Wait up, Brent!
Howdy, Brent. Anyway, yeah. Speaking of, anyway, speaking of things that people don't care about, I don't care, I'm going to say it. Summer Games Fest has confirmed a lineup of over 55 partners.
but you gotta give Jeff Keighley some props for doing this, for just carrying it on the face of adversity.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, he's still going despite the fact that people keep telling him to stop.
It's adorable. I can't help it.
Anyway,
Pete's face says it all.
I know. Anyway, so yeah, I'll read through the story whilst Kylie redeems her glass of wine.
I am. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so
okay.
the initial partner lineup for Summer Games Fest 2024 has been announced. 55 companies set to participate in the related activities were confirmed on Thursday, with more to be revealed at a later date. So, shall we just... I can't be asked to talk about when it's happening, because sod that, you can all find that out anyway. So let's just actually talk about some of the partners that are there, and then I'll have some thoughts, maybe, and I'll let Kylie have some thoughts as well, I guess.
Right.
Anyway, so Amazon Games, Annapurna, Arc Games, Atari, Bandai Namco, Blumhouse Games, Capcom, Day of the Devs, Deep Silver, Devolver Digital, Discord, Dolby, okay, EA, Embark, Epic, Focus, Funcom, MiHoYoverse, I Am 8-Bit, Indie Angels, Inner Sloth, Iron Mace, Giamma Games, Level Infinite, Magic the Gathering, oh god, Meta, NCSoft, NetEase, Netflix Games, Nexon, Niantic, PlayOn, PlayStation, Pocket Pair, Private Division. Oh, well, no, Private Division are fine. It's just Take-Two, isn't it? So, Razer, Recreate Games, Riot Games. Riot Games.
Like Riot Games.
Yeah, but they've got terrible practices. Anyway, S Games, Samsung Gaming Hub, Season Games, Sega, SNK, PIF, Steam, Sunblink, Supercell, Thunderful Games, Time Studio Games, Torn Banner, Ubisoft, Uncapped, WB, and Xbox.
You have to admit, that's more than last year.
Yes.
He's doing it. Every year he's got more and more.
Yes. Right. Well, let's take this into account then, shall we? Xbox. Okay. They're just doing a showcase on the 9th, aren't they?
Yes.
But now he's claiming that their showcase is going to be part of Summer Games Fest, which is not true. It's Microsoft doing their own thing, and he's like, look, it falls into that period. Yeah, so he's co-opted it to some degree.
But are they associating with Summer's Game?
Who knows?
I bet they will.
Anyway, we'll see on that one, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. Let's be honest, I think he's trying. Yeah. And admittedly, he's seen the gap in the market where E3 has disappeared. The fact that he was involved in E3 means that he clearly saw the writing was on the wall, decided to separate and do his own thing. I've got all manner of respect for doing your own thing. It's just I'm wondering about how many Doritos commercials are going to be thrown in the middle of all of this.
Okay. Can I get back up on my soapbox yet?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing. I am all about people rising up and, as Pete says, filling a gap in the market. That's what she said. Yes, Jeff Keighley, I have a lot of respect for. We know this. I think he's adorable. He goes about it a bit differently than I would, but I have a lot of capital. He does not have a lot of capital, so he relies on sponsors. So yes, he does do, like, when he does the gaming awards, he does, like, gaming award, or award for best costume design, sponsored by Doritos, like Pete said. I'm not a big fan of that, I have to admit. But he has taken the torch from E3 and ran with it. But where I start to get on my soapbox is this. Humans, as a species, I know that there's a lot of us that are introverts. Don't get me wrong. I know most gamers are introverts. I really do understand that. And my heart goes out to introverts who want to stay at home and not be bothered. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a whole lot of us really love in-person events.
Yeah, some of us who do.
WASD is a perfect example.
I enjoy in-person events.
Yes. Now, some of us, we need a group to be a part of to do in-person events. Yes, 100%. Pete, you talked about that on our live show, actually.
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed the in-person event a lot more when I was hanging out with a group of people than I have done in previous years when I've gone alone.
Exactly. You said exactly that.
I've said it in previous years that every time that I'd met up with people whilst I was there, I said it on the EGX episode when I'd spent some time with Mags and Mike Tendo and all that, it was a much better event.
Yes, I feel that in-person events are always going to be important. Mm-hmm. I think that Summer's Game Fest is a good stopgap between losing E3 and whatever's coming next. And so I do kind of applaud Jeff Kiley for this. But this is not sustainable. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because people are going to tune out. Your hardcore people, they do tune into the Nintendo Directs. They do turn into the showcases. They do turn into the state of play. That's a fraction of the amount of people that would turn up at an in-person event. I don't see this lasting. I think this might be the biggest year. I think we may hit the apex.
Yeah.
Not fun.
But this
we may hit the apex this year.
Yeah, but I think
and then we need to transition.
Yeah, I agree, but I think this is the problem that people have been having with this, is that people were announcing showcases. So obviously I didn't include it in the news, but Nintendo announced that they've basically got a showcase in June at some point. And he might end up turning around and going, this is part of Summer Games Fest. It was especially prevalent the first 2 years where he was like, this is part of Summer Games Fest, and it was trying to build hype, and it was like, it didn't work. The Ubisoft one is in June, like it says at the bottom of the article. And who knows whether or not it's... Yeah, I know, that's why I mentioned it. So it's... who knows whether or not they've actually technically partnered with it. It's just Jeff Keighley might turn around and say it's been co-opted by Summer Games Fest because it happens to fall within the period. We don't know. Brent mentioned it as well. It says it's not necessarily the case because Microsoft Showcase on the 9th could be all first party, and then Summer Games Fest could do a segment on third party games coming to Game Pass. Fair point.
Right. Good point.
But that doesn't necessarily mean, that is directly associated with Summer Games Fest. It's just they've thrown them a bone, let's say.
I do find it very interesting because Pete and I are old enough to remember what I'm about to say. Nana says, to be fair, they have had an in-person element. It's just for press, only like E3 was. Yep. When E3 started, for a good 15, 20 years, it was press only. I still remember sitting at my old computer watching the presentation for BioShock. It wasn't released yet, but it was like the behind the scenes BioShock that was released at E3, and it was all about the water effects and stuff. That was very new. A lot of y'all can't relate to that, but that was very new at the time. But I remember just being like, oh, we're allowed to see this, all this kind of stuff. And then over the intervening years, they started to allow the public to come in. And that's when E3 really took off. They kind of messed up when they had that whole information leak.
Didn't help themselves, but also Sony's last ever appearance at E3 didn't help them either.
Exactly. Hello, Mike Tendo. Happy 200th episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's mostly me being on a soapbox.
So far, but later on it might change.
It might change. Yes. So all I'm here to say is this, and yes, I will let Pete continue, but I just think that in-person events are coming back. They're maybe not, this is not the year because the actual game releases have been quite
crap.
Crap. They've been crap. They've been crap. Let's not argue. It's been crap. But when we get to the next gen and the AAA start dropping and the indies start popping, in-person events are going to be where we're at again. Summer Games Fest is not going to last but it's good that we have it this year, if that makes sense. Anyway, Pete, yes, continue.
I have to disagree. I don't think in-person events like this are ever going to happen again. I don't think we'll ever see an E3 like E3 was back in the day ever again. I think most AAA developers have now seen that it's so much cheaper to just do it online, and they're not going to want to spend that kind of money, because if you look at apparently the rumoured cost it was taking to have some of the booths available at a showcase like E3.
Yeah.
They're not making a hell of a lot of money out of it, but the fact is the one thing that they're missing out on when it comes to E3 is all the handshakes and the deals that they do behind closed doors, which is the disappointing side, because had it not been for things like E3 and I think Comic-Con like years and years ago, we probably would have never had things like Street Fighter Cross Tekken or weird crazy stuff like that, you know, because they were done on a whim, because two friends met up at a gaming convention or a business event and hashed things out.
That, I'm such a big believer, and I've said this on this show, I've said it everywhere, in networking. Networking is where it's at. That's what these events are about, these in-person events. Yes, it is cheaper to do a stream. Not gonna lie, it is cheaper. But it may be cheaper to produce, but the results, you're gonna get more financial results from an in-person event.
Yep.
I can only hope that we go forward and in-person events. I just know they will. I just know humans are social creatures where we like to go to things. And yeah, I know there's an element that doesn't, but there's a large part of us that does. We like to go to things. We like to meet people face to face. I've had meetings with people on Teams or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, the Microsoft Teams or whatever. And it's cool. It's fine. It is not the same as sitting at a coffee shop brainstorming with that same person and making plans and making ideas and, you know, blah, blah, blah. In-person events, I think, have a place, and I think they're going to come back. I really do. Nintendo said, oh, wow, Nintendo isn't going to be at Gamescom this year,
well,
apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
Gamescom is where I was going to go next. It's my go-to of a successful in-person event. Exactly. Mike says in-person events get people playing these games and talking about them. Exactly.
They do, yeah.
That's what happened at WASD. It's just as in-person events because I say words funny.
Yes.
But exactly. Like, there was a actually I think it was on Mag's show. The last people he had, Sleepy Time Village. He had the devs on his show on Tuesday. They said something that I strongly felt was happening. They were doing live feedback as people played the games. It was almost like beta testing in a way. They were getting live feedback from the people, and they implemented that.
Yeah.
That's what these in-person
it's
events
cool,
are about. Yeah, I think the in-person, I do keep saying in-person. In-person events, I do think they're going to come back. And boy, howdy, am I going to be ready for it.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Shall we move on? I think we've let you be on your soapbox more than enough. Because I think I might have to take you off that soapbox for a minute to let you go back on it in a minute.
Okay. Here we go.
Just step down for a moment, right?
I'll step down and drink my wine.
Open your ears and listen to this.
Okay. Uh-oh, my worst thing.
Amazon Prime's Video has placed a series order for Tomb Raider.
Oh.
With an adaptation from Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Oh,
we knew about this already, but it's been officially confirmed. Anyway, let us discuss. Let me read the article and then we'll discuss.
Okay.
British actress, screenwriter, and producer who won an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and a BAFTA for Fleabag will serve as writer and executive producer on the show. This is a quote.
She's very talented, but not Tomb Raider. Go ahead.
Shush. We'll get to that in a minute. The series, based on the iconic Tomb Raider video game franchise, follows the adventures of world-famous archaeologist and adventurer Lara Croft, said Embracer Group. Being produced by Crystal Dynamics and Amazon NGM Studios, and will premiere exclusively on Prime Video. So, Waller-Bridge has said via Deadline, if I could tell my teenage self this was happening, I think she would explode. Tomb Raider has been a huge part of my life, and I feel incredibly privileged to bring it to television with such passionate collaborators. Lara Croft means a lot to me, as she does to many, and I can't wait to go on this adventure, bats and all. As previously reported, the TV show forms part of the wider partnership between Crystal Dynamics and Amazon, which will include plans for a film and a video game. So, go on, Kylie, step up.
Hey, here we go.
But, sorry, just before you do that, Sencho put, please cast Sofia Vergara.
Oh, I love.
As who? And I think I know. Sorry.
Probably as Lara Croft. I know she's
dumb casting, really bad idea, and some of the casting choices that I've seen from people on the internet are fucking stupid.
All I know is she has to have big boobs and she needs to be hot, and that's what I want to talk about. Because
okay,
don't get me wrong, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a excellent comedy writer, and actually is an excellent yeah, so Max says, so that's the Alicia Vikander stuff knocked on the head. She's an excellent comedy writer, and she does write some really intense, I guess you could call it romantic. Fleabag, if you like to be totally emotionally devastated, it's much like Normal People, but it's Normal People with comedy.
Yeah, it's an interesting show, I will say that, to the very least. It's well written.
My heart. It's very well written. It's very well acted. It's heartbreaking, and I hate it. Much like Normal People is heartbreaking. I hate it. But I can't fault the writers because they're very talented. But having said that, don't get me wrong. Tomb Raider has comedic elements, but Tomb Raider, let's not kid ourselves. Tomb Raider is female Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. And that's what it should always be. She's got big boobs, and she's hot. Let's keep that.
Well, based on what the Crystal Dynamics version of what Tomb Raider is, it's not Tomb Raider at all in any stretch of the imagination. And let's be honest, Crystal Dynamics are very, very much heavily associated with this. So they're going to go with new Lara, who is not Lara Croft in any way, shape, nor form.
She's whiny. She's a perpetual victim, which I can't stand.
And she doesn't even raid fucking tombs.
Doesn't raid tombs, and she has no boobs and no butt. And she cries when she kills a man. I can't get behind her. I know a lot of people support new Lara, as you guys say it in the British land. But Central says, I'm now leader of the Guild of Stupid, casting ideas on the internet. Pumps out chest.
Yes, you are. But I like her as an actress, and she's very attractive. But you have to remember the one thing that what Lara Croft is, and yet she's British.
I will absolutely concede to that. That's the only thing. Like, I think Angelina Jolie was actually very well casted. At the same time, it would have been nice to see a British actress. But do British actors have big boobs?
Yes, I have the perfect casting choice for you.
Dave Johnson has just entered the room and says maggot smell.
True.
But Centro says most unimpactful detail, her being British, not her boobs.
No. British institution, classic character, made by classic British developers. Yes, I am not going to allow a British character to be co-opted.
I will say this, as the female delegation in this podcast. Lara was one of my first heroines. I love the fact that she was sexy, athletic, intelligent.
Yep.
And very adventurous. That's all I care about. Make her be athletic, not what they did to Wonder Woman, which is make her a flat-chested, tiny little thing. No. Wonder Woman was an Amazon. Laura Croft,
Mm-hmm.
Lara is also, I would say, in the Amazon realm.
Yep.
She's very strong. She's very athletic. She has big boobs. She has a big booty. But she's also very intelligent and she's very witty. If we have to go with Crystal Dynamics, little whiny, save me, they literally said when they were doing the first one, they said, we want you to feel sorry for this Lara. We want you to feel protective of her. F that.
Yep, thank you.
She does not need to be protected. Ooh, that made me so mad when I read that.
Yep, and Nana has called me out. Who would you cast then? And I have the perfect casting choice.
Okay.
British, intelligent, attractive, does action movies. Hayley Atwell.
I don't know who that is. Tell me who that is.
She was the one who played Captain Carter.
In what? Oh, yes! Yes! 100%. I'm back and Pete on this. Yes. I love that series. That is an excellent example of yes. I'm going to agree with you there, Pete. Dave says Lara is also a witch because she has unlimited bullets.
Correct.
This is true. I do love that aspect. Sintra says, all I need is a scene where she slowly walks to a ledge, then jumps. It takes a run to jump.
Yes, we need it.
And then Nana said Peggy Carter. Exactly. That would be a good choice. I'm 100% on board with that. I'm just a little short, but I don't care about that.
I think the fact that she's done Mission Impossible now shows that she's got action movie chops more than anything as well.
There are so few strong female characters out there. Laura being one of the, I'm going to say oldest, definitely very influential in my childhood. I just want to see that echoed in anything that we go forward on. Just make her strong. That's all I care about. And not flat-chested. Please, stop making women non-sexual. Some women are sexual. It's not wrong.
Nope.
It's not wrong.
No,
Some
but
of us just are. We just are.
unfortunately, based on who's involved in the series with Crystal Dynamics and also notable Hollywood feminist Phoebe Waller-Bridge, it's not gonna happen. It's not going to happen.
I will be very cautiously. I'm going to try to be cautiously optimistic. I do like her writing style. I absolutely do not think it's a fit for Lara Croft. I do not think it's a fit for Tomb Raider.
No.
But hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, they did do a great job with Fallout.
Has problems. Has so many problems. But anyway, I mean, it's good. It's a good show, but it's full of problems.
Oh, Max, I'm not reading that one out loud.
Yeah, I hope they don't. Brent said that. I bet they'll use Ella Purnell again, and I really hope not.
Is that who was in?
She was the one who played Lucy in Fallout.
So pretty though, but no, I mean not for Lara. I do think Lara needs muscles. I really, really do.
Yeah. I'm struggling to think of any other British actresses that would be perfect for the role, but I'll have a think.
I think it could be an unknown. It could be an unknown.
It could be, yeah.
Big boobs, a nice booty, and is fit, and is smart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there. I'm like.
But that's where I had the problem with the Lisa Vikander one. Like,
I know.
She bulked up well for the role. She looked very athletic and toned, but she's just tiny.
She's tiny, and that's why, again, I'm reiterating here. Angelina Jolie, I actually like the first one, but she's not British.
No, that was the only downside to it, but at least it was campy and a bit ridiculous. Okay, so you want a plank of wood to play Lara Croft, Sencho. Yeah, I'm fully aware. Okay, right.
For our listeners, he said they should cast Daisy Ridley. But I am not reading.
Yeah, I know. Right, shall we carry on talking about the UK?
Okay, go ahead.
UK government says there's no legal requirement for games to remain playable.
What?
Let me delve into this. I don't care about, we're an audio podcast. Let's get on with this. I'm not doing the whole and waiting another minute and a half of crap. So, UK government has said that games companies have, quote, no legal requirement in UK law compelling them to support older products.
Okay.
This comes in response to the Stop Killing Games campaign, which saw a petition calling for provisions in UK law to protect older games reach 10,000 signatures. So, to those who don't know anything about UK petitions and stuff like that, they have to get a minimum of 10,000 signatures for a discussion to be had within Parliament about something like this. Anyway, so a statement from the Department of Culture, Media and Sports, the CMS, said, consumers should be aware that there is no requirement in UK law compelling software companies and providers to support older versions of their operating systems, software or connected products. There may be occasions where companies make commercial decisions based on the high running costs of maintaining older servers for video games that have declining user bases. The DCMS did state, however, that the companies operating in the UK are still beholden to consumer law. So, quote, if consumers are led to believe that a game will remain playable indefinitely for certain systems, but despite the end of physical support, the Consumer Protection for Unfair Trading Regulations 2008 may require that the game remains technically feasible, for example, available offline to play under these circumstances. So in a statement to GamesIndustry.biz, representatives from Stop Killing Games Group said that it would be contacting a lawyer to investigate the legality of the practice in territories around the world. So the petition currently has 23,000 signatures. Should they reach 100,000, it will be considered for parliamentary debate.
Yes. Which is the UK government that is very interesting to an American. I actually like it, believe it or not, but that's because Americans don't have any say in their government at all.
Mm-hmm.
So this is always kind of cool to me.
Well, to be fair, do we have the facade that our voice makes a difference?
Well, I was gonna say, not to say that it actually means anything, or it's actually,
Yeah, you also have ratified legal rights for human rights.
You do have. That's
which we don't.
Thing. Yes, which was interesting to me.
Yes. Free speech? What's that?
Yeah, I know. Free speech. That's solidified and codified and
ratified
in our wonderful Constitution. Then it says it's funny how they came around thanks to a Ubisoft game and also maybe Project Cars. Lol. Sincho says technically feasible and my new fave thing to describe any questionable thing. Technically feasible. So I think the base here, Pete, correct me if I'm wrong, is do game makers, as in publishers and devs, have an obligation to make games playable? Am I understanding that?
According to the Consumer Rights Act, they have, technically in this country, they have to have a offline mode to some degree, I guess. Or they have to make it at least playable in some state.
I find that interesting because it has been something that has not sat well with me. And I will use Suicide Squad as an example. Suicide Squad is not playable offline.
No.
Not that you'd want to play it. Although I do love playing it with Mags. Don't get me wrong. If I didn't play it with Mags, I wouldn't play it at all. But the point being, Citrus says, I put my vote down on making games edible. Looking at you, Nintendo.
Why do you read the chat?
I love chat.
I do as well, but there's some savage trolling in there at the moment.
I love our trolls. Troll me more. But I kind of like. This is wrong. Okay, there's two sides of me. There's my very, very strong American capitalist side that I was raised in. And then there's this kind of cool European consumer protection socialist side that is quite strong in me as well. I like the idea that games should be playable for all consumers. I do. I don't think it's fair that games are only playable certain games are only playable online.
Brent, you are correct.
Brent says, I'm not a troll, I'm a chat. Yes, Brent has always been chat for so long, from day one. Centro says, gotta keep my bridge intact. He's a troll. But God, I'm so divided because it's like, should they be responsible, as in the developers? Should they be responsible for making games playable for all consumers? Yes. That's my trolling side. Yes. Because it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Fair. What do you think, Pete?
I'm in two minds about this one because
Me too.
it throws up the side of game preservation, of course, with the fact that if games go offline, then obviously they're unlikely to be made playable. You know, it's very, very hard for them to be preserved in a, you know, in a space because the main function of the game is essentially shut down and never able to be played again. But that has not stopped people from doing it since, where they have obviously created private servers or made their own servers as a result of it. So it is done. It is able to be done, but it requires a lot of work and a lot of reverse engineering and all that sort of thing. So it's not a legal. I wouldn't say legal route. It's not a consumer friendly route, let's say. However, from someone who, you know, I have to look at this from the other side of things, as maintaining servers takes up a lot of room, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money. So a lot of companies are not going to want to substantiate that cost for server space and capacity when only 2 people are playing your game. You know, so it's a very weird one, really, but this is where I think we might start to see the death knell of live service games eventually, because the online component is going to be something that doesn't stick around for very long. You know, let's look at Lawbreakers. Lawbreakers was not around for very long.
Good point, actually. So here's my thing. When I played Destiny 2, I love that it was live service. I love that I could sign into a game every day and, you know, do my daily tasks, head towards a goal. I had a battle pass, blah, blah, blah. I absolutely adored that aspect. And then my character kept growing, you know, as I leveled up or whatever. I got, you know, it sounds cheesy, but I got close to my character, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Suicide Squad, I hate and detest that I have to be online constantly and grinding constantly and working for it constantly.
Yep.
So I'm not 100% sure if I like live service games or I don't. I think I like live service games if it is a continuously evolving story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the Destiny route actually did it quite well, where
I think they've done it.
They have obviously evolved the story over many, many years. Obviously, people would look at that and go, yeah, but the cost of each expansion is quite a lot of money.
But it is usually, not the last few expansions, but usually it is an actual like full game. You get a full game. Whereas this battle pass on Suicide Squad, yikes, is all I have to say about that.
I mean, the game was crappy as is anyway, but, you know, in my opinion.
It's got okay points. They should have never made it live service. Hands down. But Brent says, I think a good middle ground for live service games is a minimum amount of time that is active and a minimum amount of time to inform players in the game.
I think most times when they are actually shutting down a live service game, they do at least inform you, and they tend to turn most of the monetization practices to free. They did it with Mighty Doom recently, didn't they? Where
yes,
they obviously,
yeah, that's free from till it shuts down in, I think, August. Cincho says, what do we do with live service games in 50 years though? That's the thing.
Right,
there
just
still
read the
has
chat.
to be
I'll be back in a sec.
Okay, there still has to be an endpoint. I hung on to Destiny 2 for a year, almost a year and a half. I kind of got fatigued by it because there was no end game at the time. Now we know there is an end game. But without an end game, you do get kind of fatigued from it. Of course, Brent says, we all know the best live service game, Warframe. To be fair, it's been around the longest, I think. There's a space one, I think, that's been around longer. Star Citizen? Is it Star Citizen that's been around longer?
Well, that's been in early access for years.
I think it's Star Citizen, though. Sinjo says, Guild Wars still runs, by the way, because the devs said running the servers for it is so cheap. Do you like Guild Wars? I have not looked at Guild Wars in years, but yes. Brent says Rocket Arena had its servers active for less than a year.
That's mental.
Yeah, I think that. I'm going to say this. Me, the looter shooter princess of the world. I think I'm over live service games. I think I want a game that has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
We did it, guys. We won.
I said it. Me, the looter shooter extraordinaire. I think I'm over it. If it's done well, but it would have to be something like Destiny, where it's an entire Destiny and World of Warcraft. I know for some reason World of Warcraft is not considered live service, but
it is.
It's very much live service.
Well, it's because it's quote an MMO.
Yeah.
But it's definitely live service to some degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
It just says the Schlooter princess. Yes.
Correct. Thank you. There is our episode title.
There you go. I do love looter shooters. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we move on to things that I absolutely hate in video games?
Sure. Okay.
Physical version of Assassin's Creed Shadows will require an online connection to install.
Why? We just talked about this. Why? Go ahead.
Oh, I have thoughts about Assassin's Creed Shadows anyway, but Assassin's Creed Shadows is the latest high-profile single-player game that requires an online connection to install. Pre-orders for Ubisoft's game went live today, coincided with the announcement of the November 15th release date. Internet required to install the game read the message on the box art for the product on retailers including GameStop and Best Buy. Anyway, so update as of the at the time, not long after, Ubisoft has confirmed that Assassin's Creed Shadows will be playable offline after players complete an online installation.
So messed up.
Anyway, while it's not specified why players need an internet connection to install the game, this was also the case for Abyssal Frontiers of Pandora and will be required for Star Wars Outlaws 2. In Avatar's case, a one-time internet connection was needed to download a day one patch in order to start playing the game. For many players this won't be an issue as the systems are almost permanently connected online. However, like other games that require online connections to play, it does raise issues of preservation. As if its servers are turned off down the line, it appears the game will no longer be playable. In March, Ubisoft confirmed that it was decommissioning online-only game The Crew, which is where it came up, due to upcoming server infrastructure and licensing constraints. This is total BS. I hate this practice. Can we let it stop, please?
Yes,
oh, look, we need day one patch.
It's been around forever. And let's see. Sindra says there are actually two options. You can either have internet at the time of installation or drop yourself from a tower to the top.
Nice.
Yes. Nana says, like Hex, it is apparently going to be traditional AC. Mag says, this ain't anything new though. Most game discs hardly have anything on them. Yes, which is
Xbox's case, yes.
Yeah. Anymore, this is every game ever. This isn't a big deal. Lol.
No, it is a big deal. It's a huge deal. We should definitely be getting what we paid for. If you buy a physical copy, it should have data on it.
No, see, this has been
What's the point? What's the absolute point of having a fucking physical version of a game if nothing's going to be on it? This is pathetic.
Here's where Pete and I have had several episodes where we disagree. Pete is very much, and I respect his stance, he's a very much hardcore physical copy person. I'm all about digital. Because it makes more sense to me. But that's just how that goes. Nana said, Max says, that's not true. It's not. I disagree. Central says, I'm with Pete on this. F data trash discs. Max says, because you can't fit the size of the game on the disc.
But what's the point of having a 100 gig Blu-ray disc, ultra high definition Blu-ray disc, if you can't fit your fucking data on the disc? Do what essentially, Final Fantasy Rebirth did it. 2 discs. If you need an install disc, use an install disc, for Christ's sakes.
I'm a digital girl. I've never wavered from that stance.
Also, bearing in mind, there's so much friggin' bloat within these games anyway. You don't necessarily need all the stuff on there.
Centro says SSD sticks.
I mean, I've been saying that for years anyway, and eventually that's the only way that they're going to go, is that you just plug an SSD and it's already installed on there. All you have to do is format it to your system.
It makes sense. I'm obviously not a physical copy person. I never have been. We've got several episodes attesting to that. So for me, I'm kind of like, I'm at the point where why bother with the disc? But again, you have to see that I'm seeing it from my point of view, which is let's just go all digital. But I could see that if you are a digital person, how this would be quite annoying. Because it's not truly physical. Really? Right, Pete?
Sorry, say it again. I was reading the chat.
Oh, well, Max says it all comes down to cost, doesn't it? Exactly.
Yeah, but they've raised the cost of games to 70 quid.
They have. That's why they can't be arsed to do it. But boo-hoo, you need an internet connection to download a game. You need an internet connection for anything these days. No big deal, in my opinion.
You don't. Not when it comes to Nintendo consoles, because you can just play the game straight off the cartridge. And also, it's the idea of having a DRM check-in for a single-player game that shouldn't require it. It's absolute nonsense.
I never like DRM check-ins.
But that's the problem. It's just adding this extra layer of nonsense to make sure that you are playing a verified official copy of the game. Yeah, I get the reason behind it is protecting their intellectual property. But clearly, if you've bought a physical version of the game, then where else have you got it from?
Cincho says, I didn't buy a physical copy in like 15 years, but I think if there are discs, they should contain the base game on it without having to have a connection or whatever. Now, I do agree with that. If you're going to release a physical copy, it should have the game. I'm just not a physical copy person. I'm a digital copy person.
Yeah.
And then Max says, yeah, but this ain't coming to Switch, is it?
No, it's not coming to Switch, but that's not the point. It shouldn't be necessarily a thing of, because this ain't coming to a platform, it shouldn't be like this. It's absolutely, yeah, I know the comment that you're laughing at. Read it.
Joe is quoting the Diablo guy. You're like, don't you guys have phones? I remember that news thing quite well. Nana says, like, people forgot that GT2 had to be re-released. It might come to Switch too. I would bet you $100 million that I don't have, by the way, that Switch 2 or Pro Switch or whatever, it's going to be online only. I don't think you're going to have a lot of physical copies on the new Switch.
I think you will still, because actually Nintendo does somewhat care about game preservation. Every single console they've done, apart from the Switch, has had a component of backwards compatibility to it.
I genuinely hope so. I do. It's always bothered me that Lion Jim Ryan said that nobody cares about old games.
Nonsense.
That's never sat well with me. Matt says we'll have to massively disagree on this one, Pete. But hey, this is what makes this show so much fun.
Everyone
has a great opinion.
This is where we can go. We will agree to disagree. Let's shake hands and walk away and say we're not going to agree on this one. That is fine. Spirit of debate and all, and I like it.
I love.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Sincho says they have to say switch it up in the ad for the new model. Yes, I'm sure they will. Guys, I kid you not. The first time I saw the Switch ad, and I'm talking about way
2016.
Back. Yeah. Was it 2016?
October of 2016.
Was it? Okay.
Yep.
Where it had the apartment where they were like.
Yep. Their rooftop party where they're playing Mario Odyssey. That.
I was like, okay, this thing's gonna die on its ass. I'm not wrong very often.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you that I thought the Switch looked like absolute dog crap.
I thought it looked like ass. I thought it played like ass. I thought no one's gonna buy this, but to be fair, we all have to admit, lockdown helped the Switch.
Wrong.
Really? You think so?
Oh, lockdown helped with sales, but no, it came out of the bat, off the bat swinging. That thing was selling like hotcakes when it first came out. Trying to buy one when they first launched was a nightmare.
I know that for the first 2 years they came out with banger after banger. I can't complain about that.
Yep.
But I'm not gonna lie, I saw trying to ignore chat. I saw that commercial and I thought, oh, this is dead in the water. And I am not often wrong. I am very rarely wrong, especially where business decisions are made.
Yep.
Way wrong about that. I was 100% wrong. I thought it was a dumb name. I thought it was a dumb concept. I thought this will never work. And then it worked.
And yeah, me as a Nintendo fan was very jaded after the Wii U. I went, oh god, what a terrible name. Ugh,
that's what I was thinking about was the Wii U. I was like, this is just the Wii U except enhanced.
Yeah.
So this is But
anyway, shall we talk more news?
Yes. We'll talk more news. Yes. Wow. We've only been on for an hour 34.
I know, and we've got through quite a few news stories, but we've had some rants. Anyway,
okay. I know.
I think this one might cause a few problems as well.
Ooh, okay.
Take-Two's CEO Strauss Zelnick has claimed that the publisher didn't shut down Private Division Studios' Roll 7 and Intercept games, despite reports suggesting it planned to.
They did. Okay. This is interesting. Okay. I know, right, Sancho?
Last month, the publisher said it planned to lay off 5% of its workforce, or around 600 people, as part of its cost-cutting measures that would result in the cancellation of unnamed game projects. This was followed by a Bloomberg report which claimed that it had seen documentation revealing that two of the casualties in the restructuring were Roll 7 and Intercept Games. So, if you didn't know who they are, Roll 7, London-based developer who did Ollie Ollie World and Rollerdrome, and Seattle-based Intercept Games, they did Kerbal Space Program 2.
Yes. Now, we should state that Pete wanted Rollerdrome for Game of the Year.
100%, it should have been.
Yeah, so...
It's a fantastic game. Please go and play it. It's on Xbox Game Pass now.
Yes.
So,
continue on.
Yeah. However, in a new interview with IGN... Oh, yeah, because you can't spell ignorant without IGN. Idiots. Anyway... Zelnick appeared to suggest that neither studio has been closed, but didn't clarify their actual status.
Oh my gosh.
Quote, we didn't shutter those studios, to be clear, and we are always looking at our release schedule across all of our studios to make sure it makes sense. So we are being very judicious because we're in the middle of a cost reduction program that we've already concluded and now fully rolling out. We've announced that we're saving $165 million in existing and future costs, but we haven't shuttered anything. So when Zelnick was asked if he was denying the reports, a Take-Two PR reportedly stepped in and said, what we've said is, in the 8K filing that we put out, we talked about the cost reduction plan is approximately 5% reduction in headcount worldwide, but we did not give a label by label breakdown of what it looks like. Oh wow, you got your PR firm's rep to step in. Jesus. Asked again to clarify whether the studio still existed, IGN's report was told by the PR, we have not provided any additional colour beyond what I have just said.
Oh, goodness. Oh, dear.
And yeah, the comment in the chat was hang on, by Nano. He said, you shut down the studios. No. Yeah, accurate.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
I don't even have a comment on this because it's like, I don't know. I have nothing to say on it. I'm just flabbergasted. Absolutely flabbergasted.
This is ridiculous, honestly.
It's ridiculous. That's probably the best descriptor. Oh my goodness, these are the people that might be creating a new FIFA. That's
what?
terrible.
Oh god, yeah. Apparently, yeah, Take-Two might be actually making the new licensed FIFA games.
I like that Sincho said roll her dome. Seems sketchy. I just like that. And then listening to the story loops that gif in my head where someone tries to slingshot a melon only for it to fly back in their face.
Correct.
That's the most accurate description. It's basically exactly what Nana said. You know, you shut down the studios. Nuh-uh. I mean, it's been widely reported. Like,
very widely reported.
Yeah, as soon as they bought, like, the Kerbal
Space Program 2, they pretty much laid all the developers off.
Yeah, exactly. We are so screwed. As gamers, we are screwed for the next 18 months.
Yep.
We just are. I'm sorry to say that on this wonderful 200th episode, but we are. I think we need to look at indies at this point. We are so screwed. That's my thoughts on this one.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
The Roll 7's Twitter account has not been updated since August 20th, 2022.
Why does that not surprise me?
When they were just talking about Rollerdrome coming to PS4, PS5 and Steam.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
Yes. I was trying to see whether or not I could find out if anyone has been talking about Roll 7.
Yes, Sincho, Sincho's allowed to post links, and he's posted a link in chat. Just again.
Oh yes, of course. Yep, nice image. Feels like what the games industry does all the time to itself.
What is it?
It's the melon backfiring.
Oh right, okay. So
yeah, that's what he posted.
Exactly. I actually, as much as I've been on a soapbox this whole entire episode, I don't have much to add to that because we're screwed.
Yeah, do you want to hear why else is potentially screwed?
Oh gosh, go for it.
Marvel Rivals.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
I'm not even reading the headline. I'm just going to go fire straight into the story. The team behind Marvel Rivals has apologised for seeking to restrict negative coverage of the game from content creators.
It has. I hate everyone. Go ahead.
In order to participate in its content creator program, players were required to sign an agreement which included a non-disparagement clause that forbade them from providing subjective negative reviews of the game.
Non-disparagement.
Following the backlash from content creators, including popular streamer Brandon Land, developer NetEase said that it would revise the terms, which it acknowledged were overly restrictive. So Brandon tweeted out, he said, extremely disappointed in at Marvel Rivals. Multiple creators asked for key codes to gain access to the playtest and are asked to sign a contract. Contracts signs away your right to negatively review the game. Many streamers have signed without reading to play. Insanity. And the clause itself, I'm just opening I'm just going to read it from there. 2.1 non-disparagement. The content creator agrees to not make any public statements or engage in discussions that are detrimental to the reputation of the game. This includes, but is not limited to, making disparaging or satirical comments about any game-related material, such as game features, characters, or music, engaging in malicious comparisons with competitors or belittling the gameplay or differences of Marvel Rivals, or providing subjective, negative reviews of the game. So, reading on to the story, there was a quote from a statement from was attributed by the team who made Marvel Rivals. We would like to take this opportunity to address the concerns we've seen regarding the agreement terms of content creator programs, and above all, we would like to apologise for any unpleasant experiences or doubts caused by the miscommunication of these terms. The content creator The Content Creator Program is a small-scale project that aims to aid in the production of incredible content by supporting creators through giving them more resources. We actively encourage creators to share their honest thoughts, suggestions, and criticisms as they play. All feedback, positive and negative, ultimately helps us craft the best experience for ourselves and the players. We sincerely apologise for the confusion, suspicion, and frustration caused by these excessively restrictive terms, and thank you all. Thank you for sharing with us. We cherish and appreciate every suggestion given by our players and always respect your feedback.
No, they don't. That is crap.
This is total BS.
Yes.
This absolute statement and horrifically horseshit statement would have had to have been vetted by a legal team.
Yes.
That would have been had to have been written, rewritten, and rewritten several times over to make sure that the wording was absolutely without dispute whatsoever. So for them to say this is a miscommunication is utter bollocks, full of shit, and a complete lie. No, I'm getting to that. It's a complete lie and a complete joke of a system, because this comes down to a problem that Marvel themselves have been having with everything recently, and as a such, Disney. Because this would not have gotten anywhere without Disney and Marvel's authorization, because they've licensed the characters, and there has been a lot of disparaging comments been had about a lot of Marvel properties recently, to the point where they're probably absolutely sick to death of people criticising the living shit out of them, that they put a non-disparaging clause in their contract because they want this game to go down without a thud. This game has been killed before arrival now. And do you know what the biggest problem with this is? According to the content creators who've actually played this game, and believe what you will of this because of the non-disparagement clause, apparently the game's actually fun. So why did they need this clause?
That makes me angry, actually, for a lot of reasons. Mostly because I'm an American and I believe in free speech. So I don't like this non-disparagement clause. I hate it. I hate everything about it. And I do like what Sincho says, which is the must communication of these terms. Because, yes. I just let a game go on its merits. If it sucks, it sucks. It's still going to sell, but it sucks. If it doesn't suck, great. I think the best example. Well, I think the the best example of this is Alone in the Dark. Right. Name, yes. It's a good game, but it's got a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a good game if it didn't have the problems. If they had released a non-disparagement clause, I would not even go near that game. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I'm more wary of a game that has a non-disparagement clause than a game that doesn't.
Well, you know why they've done this anyway.
Well, say why.
TikTok generation. Play this game, guys. It's fantastic. It's great. Yeah, off video.
Yeah, I think we're in a new era. I said this earlier.
Yeah, they wanted influencers. They wanted influencers, not actual critics.
I think we need to strip everything down to its most basic components.
Is it good? Is it bad?
Exactly. Let's get back to that. Who freaking cares about influencers? This is crazy because Pete and I are reviewers. Most of y'all probably don't know that, but we are actually game reviewers outside of this. I don't listen to game reviewers.
No, most of them are annoying.
Probably seems ironic. If there's a game that I want to play, I might watch a Let's Play of it. Yes, because I love Let's Players on YouTube. And I might stream something on Twitch, because I do like to watch streamers on Twitch. But I will play it because I want to play it. It says, Marvel Rivals, Enter the Influencer. Exactly. No one on this planet is going to tell me if I like something or if I don't. That's just how I roll. Like, no one influences me. I know that most people aren't like that, but I think if we could just go back to, is it good? Is it not good? Do I want to play this? Do I not want to play this?
Yeah.
Who cares about freaking influencers?
Yeah, I think the problem is that the lines have been blurred so many times over the years because apparently a 7 out of 10 game is a bad game these days. So what the hell are they even thinking? The scoring structure is a joke anyway. But then you also have many notable examples over the years of, oh, this game got a 6 out of 10 on IGN, but that reviewer got fired because they had a deal with them. And I can't remember the game that it was for, but that happened. And it was stupid. It was like, that reviewer gave an honest thought, and because they were getting money from this company, they yeeted him out of the company. It was really unfair.
Now, you have to be of a certain age to remember this. Pete, I think you will remember this. Kane and Lynch.
Oh, that's the game. That was the game. That was the game that happened for.
They gave it a high score. I think they gave it like an 8 out of 10 or something like that. And I want to say it was IGN. I might be wrong.
I thought they gave it like a 6 or a 7, actually.
No, they gave it a way high score. And it was a piece of crap game. Riddled with bugs. Riddled with... It was a...
it happened in reverse. Yeah, they gave it like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. And it was because they had a publishing... They had a marketing deal with them. But it happened in reverse, where a game that they had a publishing deal with, they were like, you need to give this game a good score, and the guy gave it a 6 out of 10 and said it was kind of crap.
Oh, there was someone that did that, but the first score that came out was way too high. And people were like, when they went and played the game, they were like, WTF, what? This game is crap. How can you do this? I swear, I think it's IGN. And that was the big scandal of the time, that Kane and Lynch came out at I think it was 8 out of 10. Possibly 9 out of 10, but it doesn't matter. It was really, really high, and it was a crap game. And then that's when we found out, this was before Gamergate, that's when we found out that marketers paid for their rankings. And we all became very disillusioned with reviewers at that time. And then, of course, Gamergate happened, and that made us even more disillusioned with reviewers. And now here we are, a generation later, a generation that doesn't remember Kane and Lynch, that doesn't remember the Depression game and Gamergate. But they do have TikTok and Instagram and all this kind of stuff. It sounds terrible what I'm about to say, but I don't think you should rely on reviewers. Yes, we're reviewers. But my opinion of a game
differs from yours.
Like it. Yeah. Pete and I are a perfect example. Pete and I do not like the same games. some stuff we can kind of agree on.
We agree to some extent on some. I mean, I think you were probably a bit more positive on Halo Infinite than I was.
I would say I was more positive, but that's because I'm a Halo fangirl.
I thought the game was mildly fun, but it was kind of shit.
Right. But, like, my top 3 games are, like, Halo 3, Fallout New Vegas, and something else that I can't think of right now. Pete's top 3 games are, like, Breath of the Wild, Final Fantasy VII.
No, not even close. I mean, the fact that you didn't... the fact that you didn't even mention Super Mario World at number 1 is disgusting. Get out of my sight.
But you see my point. Pete and I are vastly different. We're coming at vastly different point of views.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this again. We are reviewers. Don't rely on reviewers to choose your games. So if Marvel Rivals, if you play it and you like it, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
If you play it and you don't like it, that's okay too. I'm really annoyed that they did that. Put that clause in there. Brent says you can probably guess my top 3.
Warframe Season 1, Warframe Season 2, Warframe Season 3. No, I'm joking.
No, Forza's in there.
No, I'm joking, of course.
Yeah. But, my point being this. I know we've had a very short show, but for our 200th episode, Pete, we're almost, like, done.
Oh, I know.
But don't rely on reviewers. Because reviewers are influenced by various things. Unless you want to try independent markets like, Rapid Reviews, where we're not influenced by anyone. Or Mag's TNGC on Tuesday nights, where you can go and see the trailers of the games and judge for yourself.
True.
Cincha says that's why the after show will go for 4 hours. It might. Not going to deny that.
Maybe.
But yes, Pete, do you have any more for our 200th episode?
Nope, that's all the news stories we got for this week.
Okay, that does make an incredibly short show.
No, it's fine.
It was going to be... yeah. But we do have to talk about this one thing, Pete. Do you want to talk about it? It's going to be fun. We're going to be there. Really hot guy named Mags is going to be there. Pete, do you want to talk about this hot guy named Mags, or do you want to talk about the event that he's going to be at?
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no clue what you're doing. Oh, yeah. You mean that convention, that independent convention that should be promoted and supported because we're lacking in independent... Well, we're having a stream of independent conventions coming up called Timeless Gaming Convention. So, yes. Timeless Gaming Convention, August the 14th in Arcade Club in Bury, Manchester. Be there or BL7. That's an old reference, yeah. There you go.
Oh my gosh! That's so old! We're old.
I know. That's why I said it. Anyway, so, yeah. Well, I need to talk to you about travel arrangements for that anyway at some point. But yeah, we're going to be there. A few of the community are going to be there. Mags' community is going to be there because he's running the event, I guess. So please go and support a fellow creator and their ventures in creating a good show by using Rapid24 at checkout for 15% off your tickets. Please, just one, at least one.
I really want to look cool in front of Mags. He might not think I'm cool. Maybe. I don't know. So buy a ticket and use our thing. Because I want to look cool. And then it says, do you have something else to say? Also, Kiley, when's your show so I can fly to NI? Stay tuned. You meant the rock band, right?
Yes.
Yes. That's totally what we meant. Oh, yeah.
I'll get into that in a minute. It'll be part of the closing. So.
Okay. Anyway. That is like, please show up. First of all, we'll be there. I will be awesome. So you know you're going to hang out with me. I may be in cosplay. I don't know. I have like 3 costume changes I'll be doing.
And you'll definitely be drunk.
Oh, 100%. There's no doubt about that. And some of the people that are there, I've hung with before, and we've done crazy things, like Rowan. So expect crazy, insane things,
Yes.
which will be fun to watch. That I won't remember, so please videotape. But also use use the code so that I can look really cool in front of the guy that's like promoting it. His name's Max. I want him to think I'm cool. And then there's an Akuma patch, Pete, in 3 days. Max says, "Oh, FFS."
Really? Really? I didn't know Akuma was coming out in 3 days.
It just says.
Oh, I'm there for it, by the way.
You're really selling it to me, Kiley. Sinjo, I'm not kidding. If you did set aside time and money to show up to this, you would not regret it.
Yep.
Exactly that, Sinjo. Film me doing effed up S. I won't remember. Exactly. It will happen. I guarantee it. First of all, I'm going to arrive. Let's talk about me for a second. I'm going to arrive in an electronic t-shirt that says Mag's #1 fangirl, and then also has Mag's face on it. And then I've been requested to wear a Lady Dimitrescu cosplay, so we know how that's going to turn out. And then I've been requested to wear a costume with my fellow co-host on another podcast, Jenny. So expect costume changes, expect lots of drinking. There's also video games you can play, like 4 levels. There's some legendary panels you might want to watch, but who cares about that? And of course, I'm joking. Obviously, you care about that. Yes, Nana says that's going to be insane. It is. I'm joking. You're going to love it. But, Pete, would you like to talk about your podcast?
Yes. So I do, for those who don't know, I do another podcast called The Never Watchers with my pal Kurt Lewin. We recently came out with the Echo episode.
Ooh.
Things got spicy.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Things got a bit spacey.
Okay.
Next up, we are covering June Part 2.
Ooh.
So, yeah, that's with previous guests and returning guests for the Never Watchers, Gadget and Stig from Modern Escapism. So, yeah, can't wait to watch that again. Oh, watch it for the first time, because it's going to be fun. But yeah, that should be out soonish. Don't know. Can't remember when we're due to record that one.
Interesting and excellent. Citra says, don't forget about that caber tossing exhibition with Mags is the log.
Yes. Anyway, let's take a moment, because obviously, you know, we got through the news, we did a few things, and talk about how the fact that we got to 200 episodes. This is ridiculous.
It's insane. It is absolutely insane, Pete. What do you have to say about it? Because I have a lot to say.
What the fuck is wrong with all you weirdos? No, I'm kidding, of course. Yeah, I can't believe we ever made it past episode 3, to be honest.
Technically, as in the technical behind the scenes, yeah. How the heck did we make it?
I mean, from the fact that the first episode I wasn't even sat on a chair using a headset, and you know, in my parents' like spare room, to where things have come now, where I'm sat in a spare room in my own house with a microphone in front of my face, and there's still technical issues. You know, we come so far.
I know. I think, was it the first episode or the second episode where my microphone failed?
Yep.
And we had to switch midstream, and I had to go up and record in somebody else's office.
Yeah.
Where I didn't know any of the equipment, and I was like, okay.
That was quite funny, but that was back when we were just doing audio only in the middle of the day and all that.
And then I think you went to EGX on the 3rd episode.
We did, yeah, I did. Yeah. And then you went to Insomnia the episode after.
Yeah.
Which is why I brought it full circle with the Insomnia story.
Exactly. I called it back then. I still call it now. Cincho says, big cheers, guys. Doing this for so long is a heroic feat. Thank you so much, Cincho. But we only do it because you guys hang around us. I don't know why you hang around.
Yeah, which is why I said, what the hell is wrong with you guys?
It's probably because I drink a lot.
It might be, yeah, but obviously the support that we've had since we've moved it to a live show on Twitch has been amazing, you know, putting it out on YouTube and all that. It takes up a lot of time, a lot of effort for one of us. No, I'm kidding, for both of us, because it used to be the case that we spoke every week and organised everything. It was, you know, considering we don't take any money off of this, we actually spend money doing it, you know. We do it actually because we give a shit. We do it because we care and because we love what we do.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
And like I said, I've said it many times. I said it on I think I said it on the EGX episode, or the WSD episode, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I've made some good friends out of this podcast, including yourself. And, you know,
absolutely,
you know, we did it for 4.5 years before we even met in person. But, you know, it was the fact that when you turned up at Gatwick Airport, it was just like, oh, that's you. Okay, cool. Let's just talk like we do when we have a screen in front of our face. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know, so
like nothing was different. Like I walked up and I was like, dude, I'm tall. And then you were like, wow, you are tall.
Yeah.
That's all you said.
And that was it. And then I was just like, sorry, didn't notice you there. I was listening to Gaming Metal, and it was like, yeah, cool, sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very typical for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it was great.
It was weird. It wasn't weird at all. So yeah, you can do a podcast with someone for 4.5 years. And no, that was...
The funny thing is, I didn't walk up with a glass of wine just because there wasn't any on offer. But as soon as we got to WASD, and I found out that there was wine, I did partake.
Yeah, of course.
So if you're bored and haven't listened to the WASD audio only episode, I'm drunk as if. I am...
Especially on that third day, Jesus.
Not only am I drunk on wine, but my girlie was there, my best girlie, Amber.
Mm-hmm.
Who has also followed us, by the way.
Yeah.
Amber was there, and she gave me a water bottle full of vodka.
Kindred spirits.
Yes. Absolutely kindred spirits, like down to our genetic code. We are 100%. She is my girlie. She had my back. I drank vodka.
Yeah.
So that whole episode, I am drunk as a skunk.
Oh, I know you are. But yeah, it's crazy, really. But we aren't going anywhere either. We're enjoying doing this far too much. It's like I said,
absolutely.
It takes up a lot of our time, but it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Especially for some of these savage comments that we get sometimes.
I know. Friend says, is that what it will be like if you meet me? You're tall, then carry on. Yes.
Correct. It's literally how it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing trek. And I mean, to not state the obvious, but I am going to state the obvious. Like, obviously, Pete and I, for 4 years, Pete has pulled me through some dark times. I've been there with Pete through some dark times. We've been through a lot. And actually, without Pete, and yes, I know Mike Tindo, friend of the show, best friend of the show, for this. But without Mike and then Pete, I mean, I would not have met Max.
Yes.
So there you go. And then our community and Max's community would not have merged.
Correct.
It just says Mike. And then sick, I need to catch up on that. I'm drunk as a skunk, but you can't tell. I listen to it. I am a professional. Oh, way, it's amazing. I'm so good. Max says congrats on 200 shows. Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't think that first day that we would be sitting here 4 years later.
No, neither do I. I thought it would have fizzled out after a while, but like Kylie said, we both helped each other through some pretty tumultuous times, let's say. So, you know, it's, you know, because I can't say it anymore. Made some friends out of this, you know. So
Cincho says we do like merging around here.
I know.
No, it's been a great ride. It has been. And we hope that you guys have enjoyed it. And we hope that you've enjoyed that we switched to a live format.
I think I
as
enjoy it
well.
a lot more, actually, as well.
I needed this because it came at a time in my life where no lie, I was very depressed. I didn't get out of bed. When
Mm.
Pete said, let's try it on Twitch, I had to get out of bed. I had to put makeup on. I had to sit in front of a camera. And
Yeah.
you can watch from that first episode up till now, you could tell I was depressed.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of
Got through it.
blossomed. Yeah. And I could only have done that with Pete and our community.
Yeah.
Because it was a very rough time in my life.
Mm.
And now here we are. And
Of course.
great.
Yeah, but let's just take this moment to just thank the people that got us here along the way. The people that obviously helped out in the contribution of the show. Obviously, Overlord Mike. His support has always been there for us. Lets us do as we want, as we do.
Yes, he does. He does.
Which is quite unusual.
I still have to send him his
I know. Yeah, in the Rapid Reviews community, of course. But other than that, it's like every person who's contributed to the show in any way, whether or not it's been a viewer or watcher across the way, doesn't matter how. You know, your support is always appreciated. The people who physically contributed to the show by coming on as guests, so Nana, Brent, Mags, who are currently in our chat.
Oh, Brent, now I am the one having a bad time with the move. Thanks for the distraction. Now, that's another thing I do want to say is thank you to everyone, and basically every one of you have said at one time or another are constants. Thanks for entertaining us. Thanks for the distraction. Thanks for whatever. Thank you for that, because it gave us a reason to keep going. Because for me, and I've never hidden this, I love entertaining people. My absolute favorite thing is to make people smile, to make people laugh. I live for that. And then when you guys in chat or you leave comments on YouTube, or I hear from you guys and you're like, I laughed so hard, I wet myself.
Yeah.
I have done it. I have achieved nirvana.
Yep. So yeah, some other thanks obviously, like to the people who've been on. I'm trying to remember everyone that's been on. It's quite tough, obviously.
We've had so much.
Mike Tendo, Leon.
Everyone in our chat has been on. Except Danker. Danker's the only one who hasn't been
Sencho,
on.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Everyone has basically been on. we get as many people on as we can, and we give everyone a voice, and we've always had that. We have differing opinions, but actually everyone deserves to have a voice. Whether or not along the way you've decided that you don't want to talk to us, that is fine. We'll say thanks to Daryl and to Lewis as well, Kieran.
Brent's not wrong. We do thank Kieran for his time on the show.
Yeah.
But you know who has been on the show the most, more than anyone?
Mike Tendo?
No, Mags. Mags has actually eked out Mike Tendo by
Wow, okay.
Only if you count happy hour.
I don't.
Which I do.
I don't. It was an unofficial offshoot.
Yes. Just hashtag Ben Mags. No! Nana says it has been really fun to know you for as long as I have, and it's been listening. Nana, I've known you since you were 17, because Nana and I worked at a different product.
Yeah.
We worked at Game Savvy together. Max says, "Dang it, get Mike back on so it evens out."
Yes.
Banned? No. Not nice.
But yeah, just to continue, obviously, thank you everyone, really do appreciate it, and special I would say special thanks, I'm getting to that, Nana, to the person who says that you never listen to the end of a podcast so that you can keep the veiled insults in there. Rezo, we thank you as well, but but you fucking suck, man.
So I do not share in that opinion.
I'm joking. Thank you. Thanks for the invite to your show as well, Rezo, to disrupt. It's just funny. I love our little back and forth. It was just last week. So the back to the context of that is that last week he particularly called me out, which was funny as hell.
It says, really, I think I've been on 6 shows: 3 Game of the Year, Game of the Generation, a Roundtable, and Accessibility.
Yes.
Only if you count Happy Hour as actual shows.
Which I don't.
Mac's been on, which Pete does not. I do, but that's just because.
I don't count it because it didn't have the Rapid Reviews name on it.
Oh goodness, here we go. Rapid Reviews presents Happy Hour. Nana says, I have known Kylie since I was 17 years old. Yes, you have, Nana. It's true. Isn't that crazy? Wasn't that the guy on the show I was on?
Correct, yes.
And then Max says Happy Hour was a spinoff, so it doesn't count. It counts
it's the Frasier to the Cheers.
It counts to me.
Anyway.
My 4 favorite shows with Rapid Reviews.
Yeah. Which says a lot about the fact that 200 episodes and your favourite is an offshoot of the show.
But I most appearances for spin-off shows. Whoop whoop. Now that is true. No one can dispute
True.
that. Cincho says F Guile.
True, yeah. Also, because I said thanks to Reza, I have to say thanks to CD as well. His contributions have always been interesting.
Yes, absolutely. No.
But yeah, too many people to thank and not enough time. We could go on forever. So let's end this show and just say thank you, everyone.
End the show, but of course, for anyone listening, anyone watching that's new, we're going to end the podcast, but we will stay another 5 or 10 minutes on the after show.
I currently need to put bloody light on in a minute.
Yes. / Rapid Reviews, where we do cuss and drink and smoke.
I mean, you say that. I've been doing that basically the whole time.
I've been drinking the whole time.
Well, I meant cussing.
Yeah, and that too. Citrus said, I thought we were on the after show already. No, this is our 200th show wrap-up. But I think that's going to do it for us, Pete. Do you have anything more to add?
No.
Then we will see you and talk to you next week. Bye.
Fuck you, Rezo. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Rapid Reviews Radio podcast. You can find the podcast on Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and various other podcast platforms. You can also find the video version by searching Rapid Reviews on YouTube and watch the podcast recording live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Rapid Reviews at 7:30 p.m. UK time every Sunday. Please make sure to follow the podcast on Twitter at RRRadioPod, and for all the latest reviews, visit www.rapidreviewsuk.com or on Twitter at RapidReviewsUK.